Welcome back. Well, after a pretty impressive run up, we're going to try to answer the question, is Bitcoin overbought? We're going to look to Google Trends to answer that. Now, the way Google Trends works is it looks for the online presence of searches for a particular keyword, in this case, Bitcoin. Now, it's normalized by geography and many other factors as well. It's given a score of 0 to 100. Now, the yellow histogram bars here show us that scale 0 to 100. And this shows us the popularity of the keyword Bitcoin as it's searched in Google. Now, a score of 100 indicates the greatest frequency of searches for that particular keyword. In that particular case, that happened late 2017, early 2018 when we see Bitcoin at the time hit a very significant high, right around 20,000. And then shortly after that, you'll see actually Bitcoin started its crash on the way down, and so did the Google Trends. You see, what happens is this doesn't tell us whether it's going to go up or go down. It just shows us the popularity of searches for the particular keyword. So if the market, whether it's Bitcoin or a particular stock, is not moving at all, obviously people won't be searching for it very much, and it'll get a relatively low score. On the other hand, if the market is, making new significant highs or making new significant lows and crashing, a lot of people will be searching for that. So that's the premise behind this, is that we look to see how frequent we're searching for it. Now, in 2018, this obviously represented the peak of the Google Trend search when we hit that high of 20,000. Then we saw Bitcoin and the Google Trend stats move to the downside. We then saw a pretty significant run up where the Google Trend score hit a level of 50 at the time that the Bitcoin hit around around 60,000, 65,000, almost even 70,000 at one point, and it came very, very fast to the downside. Well, currently, based on our all-time searches, and this goes back to late 2014, we currently have a score right now of around 15. Now, with that said, we can also, take this under consideration that Bitcoin, when it hit its first very significant high, it was a brand new instrument. So certainly there's a lot more traders and investors. People are curious searching for this. It's not the case right now. So it's not a one-to-one comparison. But it's interesting to see how when the market starts to go up again, so do the Google Trend search. Now, that was an all-time search going back to data of 2014. This is over the past 5 years. The yellow histogram bars here show us a level of 100. That's very, very close to when Bitcoin was seeing its very significant high up to the 60,000 level. We then return to the downside. And then notice, very interesting, around mid 2022, we saw the market crash. Bitcoin fell from 50,000 down to 20,000. Well, a lot of people were searching for it again, probably trying to figure out why it's going down that much. And that's why we had this long histogram bar go up to a level of 80. So on a 5-year scale, we saw the level of 80 occur mid 2022. Well, currently, with today's rally or the recent rally, or the past couple weeks and even month or so, we see Bitcoin around 44,000 and change, and we see our Google Trends on a 5-year scale hit a level of 30. So it's certainly more significant than we've seen all of 2023 and going back to probably late 2022. But we should ask ourselves a question. If Bitcoin is really at the high, would we not expect the Google Trends to register a higher high as well? Now we zoom in on the past year, and we can see now Bitcoin around the 40,000 level. We see the Google Trends over the past year has registered a score of 100. So over the past 1 year, the Google Trends now indicates that the keyword Bitcoin is more searched now than it has been over the entire year. Now, the 5-year search, it's not at its highs. It had a pretty significant run up, but it's not at its highs. Does this mean it's going to reverse to the downside? Not necessarily, but it's very interesting to see how parabolic both the Google Trends and the Bitcoin market has become. Now we see here, this is over the past 5 years. This represents the 1 week percentage change of the Google trend. So if we had a score of 50 and then it goes to a score of 60, that would be a 10-point increase or a 20% increase. This shows us a percentage increase or decrease. And what this shows us is a spike in interest. So for example, we had Bitcoin, the yellow line, that was, hovering in a trading range for quite some time around 2020, 2021. All of a sudden, we saw a big spike up. And at that time, we saw a 60% increase. Notice these white histogram bars. This shows the percentage increase or decrease in interest, so to speak. 60% seems to be a pretty big level, 60 to 70%. The market then, hit its high, came back down, double top, and then we had that big crash. That was mid 2022. Well, a lot of people were probably searching because we had 180% increase in the keyword Bitcoin as it was searched in Google. And there's certainly a lot of people are probably Googling this, trying to figure out, is this the bottom? Is this a good time to buy or should we sell? And we hit this bottom on Bitcoin around the beginning of 2023. Now, most recently, we've seen another 60% spike in interest in the keyword Bitcoin just over the past week or so. And this is very interesting as we see the markets now hitting new highs we haven't seen in about a year or so. Is this a top? Well, it's certainly not easy to determine that. However, it's very interesting to see. We've had a 60% increase in interest in this keyword Bitcoin as it's searched in Google, which seems to be a very popular level. And that doesn't mean that the market's hit its highs. We had a 60% spike over here in 2021, and then Bitcoin obviously went up a lot higher than that. So it does show us periods of time when the market all of a sudden becomes very interesting and a lot of people are searching for it. It doesn't call tops and bottoms, but I suppose we could take away from this is that it shows us when we should really start to pay attention. Now we can use technical analysis and try to figure out, okay, does it look like a reversal? Maybe we should throw in another technical indicator as well. That's up to our individual strategies. But what this is telling us is there's a greater interest in Bitcoin now than there has been over the past 1 year, 12 months on Google Trends, and that we've had a 60% increase in interest lately, which is the biggest jump we've seen all year. And it has marked in the past very significant highs or lows for the market. So we're going to continue to watch this very carefully, and we'll certainly be up. We'll update you along the way with any significant changes. We hope this has been helpful. We look forward to seeing you back soon.